Hey, what's up guys? It's Optic Turtler coming to you guys with a free-for-all gameplay. Free-for-all on Foundation. I went through 30 and 9, yeah, 30 and 9. And I want to talk today about the worst, just the teacher I've hated the most. Actually, the only teacher that I have ever hated. She was just a horrible teacher. But before we get started on that, I just want to mention, if you hear any war sounds in the background of my commentary, it's not that I'm at war. It's that there's a crazy huge ass storm outside and it's thundering loud as fuck and lightning. Some scary shit, you know. And talking about scary shit and lightning, I just want to say that all these people that were affected by Hurricane Sandy, we haven't forgot about you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. And I've actually entered a couple foundations to help you guys out. So if you're watching this video, I just want you to know that. And yeah, that's that. But the teacher, oh my god. I'm not going to mention a name. But I will say that her name sounded like Whistle. And everybody or anybody that goes to my school or any of my friends that are watching this, you know exactly who I'm talking about. She was my freshman year in high school. Obviously, I'm still in high school. But she was my geometry teacher. And she was just horrible. Not in the sense because she didn't know just how to teach. But because she was just the most two-faced bitch in the world. This is the only person that I have ever hated. And I hate to use the word hate. But I just hate her. Like, I straight up hate her. If she was to die tomorrow, I would not care. I would go to her graveyard and I would take a deuce on it. I would just shit all over it. Because I hate her. I hate her absolutely. One of the reasons why I would hate her was because I would get fucking like hundreds and A's on my homeworks. And then on the tests, somehow, like some fucking way, I would get like a fucking 40. And I don't understand how the fuck, like, I don't understand it. And then she treated me as if I was like a special need kid. Like whenever I would be taking a test, she would fucking make me go sit in a room solitary by myself. And while everybody has their chance to use a fucking calculator and shit, like I'm so mad. Like just talking about her makes me so fucking frustrated. Like this is probably the only time you will hear me like cuss, because she just fucking pisses me off. Anyways, like, she would just make me sit in a room while taking my test, like in the teacher's lounge, by myself. And while everybody's using, like, allowed to use fucking calculators and shit, she wouldn't let me, like, she wouldn't give me one to use. So, eventually I had to buy my own calculator, and I would use it on my fucking test. But it helped out, like, in the long run, because now I'm in Algebra 2. It really has helped. Especially now, it really does having your own calculator. Yeah, that's like nerd shit right there, nerd talk. But that's one of the reasons. 'Cause she would just fucking, she would screw up my tests somehow. Second reason is because she was the most two-faced bitch in the world. Oh my god. This lady would piss the fuck off me. Like my parents. Because my parents really care about my grades. I mean, I'm an A honor roll student with a few B's here and there, but having C's all fucking class year long in that one class, my parents knew something was up. And whenever my parents would go and talk to her, she would just be like all kind and sweet, like, oh, he's trying really hard, this and that, and just bullshit. And then whenever my parents would go away, she was just like the biggest bitch again. And she wasn't that she hated me. Like, I don't think she hated me. But I think it's just that one day, like in the beginning of the school year, and it was like in that first week, I know I did the worst thing ever, but I corrected her. And that fucking pissed her off. And since then, I think she had it with me, and she was the biggest bitch ever. And just because I don't give a fuck, I'm going to say her name right now. Her name was Mrs. Whistler. And I hope she's watching this. She searches her name, because I hated her as a teacher. she wasn't a teacher. There's a difference between a teacher and actually teaching and helping your students and being there for your students, and then calling yourself a teacher and being there for the money, and straight up tell your class that you hate being a teacher and that you're only in it for the money. Like, that's not a fucking teacher. Like, oh my god. And I hated her. But whoa. Oh, okay. And then one more thing, last thing that I think really made her hate me was in the last 2 weeks of school, we were having this project, and it was like build your own house out of cardboard. And we were using X-Acto knives. If you don't know what that is, kind of looks like a, I guess it kind of looks like a scalpel, but it's a really sharp knife. And it's mostly used to like dissect shit and like cut foam board. And at the end of the year, I was cutting my foam board, and somebody, like, I was on the floor and somebody kicked the poster board. And as I was cutting, it slipped and I cut my thumb open. Once I went to the like emergency room, they said it was like over a centimeter deeper, like in, and I had to get stitches and shit. But the next day, like that day when I first told her, she didn't want to let me go to the nurse, which fucking pissed me off because it was bleeding everywhere, and she was pissed. And apparently, like, my fellow classmates the next day said she started like fucking crying because she thought she was gonna get sued. But once I went to the nurse, like, I had to go home. I went and told her. She got pissed and like she made this big shit about it, and I was like, fuck you, whatever. And then the next day I came to school and I told her, and she was all worried and she was like crying because she thought she was gonna get fired and sued, and she just like hated me even more because of that. So I'm glad she moved. Like, she doesn't go to my school anymore, and that's really been the only teacher I've had a problem with. Other than that, I've had great teachers, and that's the person that I hate. I absolutely hate, and the only person I have ever hated. So if you guys have a teacher like that, my only suggestion and advice to you guys is just try not to make her, don't make her a reason to hate you or him. Like, just try to play chill with them, like ignore them. But if they're fucking around with your grades, tell your parents, guys. Don't be afraid to be called a pussy. Tell your parents. That's your fucking grades. What's gonna get you in college by your GPA. If you like this video, guys, like, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed.